Hi, children. Good day. Uh, I know things are difficult. You are at home. I'm at home. The going is out is very difficult, but it's said that when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So be safe, be healthy, stay at home, don't go out, but don't stop learning as well. Uh, Today I'll be taking the first chapter of the world contemporary world book that is related to a theory or an ideology or a topic called Cold War. So it's a very, very important topic, and I'll try my level best to do justice to it. Just pay attention, and any doubts, we'll see how to clarify them later. But the first thing is to start the lesson. Now, children, you must have read in the class 9, the second chapter of history, Russian Revolution. Russian Revolution occurred. Tsar Nicholas II was assassinated, killed, along with his family, and the system of capitalism transformed into communism. Communism, what is the meaning of communism? Communism at your level may mean equality. All the production, all the economic structure, the monetary structure is in the hands of the government. All the industries are government owned. There is no private property. And only one political party exists in the country, and that is the Communist Party. Fine, there might be leaders, but the political party shall remain the same. So, in the Second World War, 39 to 45, USSR and USA, Russia's name was changed to USSR or Soviet Union. So Soviet Union and USA were in one camp, that is the Allies. And this camp defeated the Axis powers, that is Germany, Italy and Japan. But after the war in 1945, the ideological differences started taking place because USA and Europe, most of the Europe was following the capitalist system of production and ideology. But Soviet Union was following communist system. Capitalist and communist, the world was started getting divided into two camps. Now, ideologically, the confrontation started, and USA and its friends on one side and USSR and its friends on the other side tried to divide the world into two separate camps or groups, or what we call poles. Right, like we have North Pole and South Pole. So here it was West Pole and East Pole. The Western Pole, the Westerners were USA and allies, and the Easterners were USSR and allies, that is Soviet Union and allies. Now, big boy and fat man, the nuclear bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, did one thing, that they gave an information to the entire world that if another confrontation will take place, if a third world war will take place, nobody will survive, because USSR and USA and their allies also possessed nuclear bombs. So if one power throws or uses the nuclear bomb, the other one can also. So it will be a self-destruction. So there was enmity, hatred, suspicion, but no actual war between Soviet Union and USA and their respective allies. So if I say there was no hot war, that is the use of weapons or actual war, so this situation of hatred, enmity and suspicion, where a war can happen but it is not happening, but the hatred is at its apex, apogee, this type of a situation the world went through from 1945 to 1991 or 1992. And this type of a phase is called Cold War. Right, so I think you're clear with Cold War. What is Cold War? Now, as your book goes, I will also try to adhere to it. There's one topic given in the book, and that is Cuban Missile Crisis. Cuba is a very small state, a country in the Caribbeans, very near to USA, the coast of Florida, right? So in 1961, mid 1961, USSR feared, the president of USSR, Nikita Khrushchev, feared that being in proximity to USA might any day invade Cuba. That was an ally of Soviet Union. So Soviet Union deployed its missiles, nuclear missiles on US in Cuba. And for the first time, USA came under the direct radius of the nuclear bomb from Cuba, because the range of nuclear missiles from USSR could not reach USA, but from Cuba it could definitely cover the whole of USA. 3 weeks after, John F. Kennedy, the president of United States of America, got this news, and he just didn't take it lightly. He knew what can happen, so he ordered his military ships to intercept. Intercept means not let the USSR ships come to Cuba. And he ordered that the USSR ships shall be intercepted by the USS ships, and no ship of USSR shall reach USA. And the entire world in 1962 was sitting on the pile of gunpowder, barud, that any day, the war may take place and the world will be devastated. But fortunately, USSR stepped back. It de-deployed its missiles from Cuba. They took them away, and USSR also became quiet. So the world averted a very, very, very big crisis. And this is called Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. 1962, in the other book, you'll also need to learn another big event took place, that China attacked India. So that we'll discuss later, I think, if God allows us face to face. So going further, now, as the world was divided into two camps, two poles, both the countries, USSR and USA, tried to make their camps stronger. So they both tried to have as many allies as possible. USA and USSR both were wooing the countries to come on their side. So ultimately the world was broadly divided into two parts. It's called the bipolar world. One world represented by USA, that we occasionally call the first world, and one world represented by USSR and its allies, that we call second world. There's a third world as well. I'll discuss it later, maybe in the next video, because this entire chapter cannot be covered now in one video. So I have to make two, I presume. Now, alliances were being made, and Europe was divided into two parts. Western Europe, that is United Kingdom, France, Spain, Portugal, Denmark, Norway, etc., became the part of the USA bloc, Western bloc, and the Eastern Europe, this side of Europe, but you can see my hand, if this is Europe, this side of Europe, that is Bulgaria, Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia later became a third world country, Latvia, Estonia, and Azerbaijan, and other places, right? They became the part of USSR bloc. So the entire Europe, the Western Europe, became USA ally, and the Eastern Europe became the ally of USSR. And they started making military alliance. What is a military alliance? Military alliance means war on one country would be war on all. So USA made the main alliance in 1949 with 12 countries, 12 states, called NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And later it made SEATO and CENTO. Right, so NATO, SEATO and CENTO is USA alliances of countries. And in 1955, to counter NATO, USSR and allies also made a new alliance called the Warsaw Pact. Warsaw is in Poland. It's the capital of Poland, right? Warsaw Pact. So on one alliance was a group of countries the NATO Sito Cento, that is USA and company, and Warsaw Pact, uh, which included many countries of most of the countries of Eastern Europe, then China, Iraq, North Korea. This was called Warsaw Pact, right? USSR. So capitalist, USA, communist, USSR, Soviet Union. So there was a Cold War, but no hot war, right? But Cold War doesn't mean that there was no use of weapons. The use of weapons happened. They took place, but not very widely. Means 1%, 0.75%, 1.5% out of 100. So it could be ignored. So somewhere at some places, hot war did happen, but it was, we can take it as negligible, right? Now we have to see that there's a theory called theory of deterrence. This is a very important theory. Both the camps were fearful of going for a hot war against each other because both possessed deadly nuclear weapons. Now, if USA fires a nuclear weapon on USSR, the USSR can't save it itself. So the bottom line is, what it can do, it can just press a knob and fire its nuclear weapon on USA. That means if I initiate a bomb, a war, a nuclear weapon, I shall be ready to be destroyed as well. So this fear of self-destruction stopped any hot war or use of nuclear weapon. If I fire, I'll be fired. If I go for a hot war, I'll also be destroyed. If I fire a nuclear weapon may hit me as well. So this stopped the countries, these big countries, these nuclear capable countries, of starting a hot war on using nuclear weapons. And this is called theory of deterrence. Deterrence means stopping oneself from going for any action, any war, any hot war. Right? Okay. So I think I'm clear. I'm trying to be. Now, there's a question. Why the USA and USSR wanted to make allies? Why it wanted to make allies? Why these countries wanted allies? Small countries, newly independent countries, or the distant countries, remote countries to become their members. There are 4 reasons. 1, to exploit their resources. Resources means minerals. A very, very important, what we call black gold, that is oil. So point 1, why alliances made and why smaller countries or remote countries are persuaded to become the member of alliance of USA was trying its way, and USSR was trying its way. Number 1 is resource, as I have told you. Number 2 is territory. Why territory? Territory is very important. On a territory, you can deploy your weapon. See, take for example, USSR. If can a missile of 1000 kilometer radius, intermediate range ballistic missile, a nuclear capable missile, if it is placed in France, can it reach USSR? No, it cannot. But if it is placed in South Korea, then the entire USSR may come in the range of that US missile. So territory was a very important cause for alliance building, that they can deploy their missiles. The third cause was an area from which we can spy. Nobody, because the theory of deterrence, there was no hot war, but spying was to be there, and there was an arm race. Arm race means USA and USSR. If I make one bomb, the other one makes 2, then I make 3, the other one makes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm always trying to surpass the other in power and making of nuclear bombs and other military arsenal. Right? So that if any hot war unfortunately takes place, I am not on a lower side. So this is called arms race. So for spying, what the other power is doing, this was done. And the last one was economic support. Every country has its own GDP, GNP to finance NATO, CETO, CENTO, Warsaw, anything. They needed money and they wanted to extract money from their subordinate countries, from their alliance members. So these are the 4 points why USA and USSR both went for alliance building. Right. Now, I was talking about slight, small, hot wars. Wherever they took place, this in history is called arenas of Cold War. Arenas of Cold War means the areas in the Cold War period which became hot. Right, where hot means use of weapons or direct confrontation or bombing or shootouts or shelling, bomb shelling, right? So you have to remember few names. A direct question doesn't come from it, right? You just have to remember Korea, North Korea versus South Korea, Congo, Berlin, Iraq, and Afghanistan. These were the areas where very, very little firing, bombing took place, and these are the arenas of Cold War where actual confrontation took place. So arenas of Cold War, once again I'll repeat, it is Korea 50 to 53, 60s Congo and Berlin, and then 70s Afghanistan and Iraq. There small confrontations took place, and these are called the arenas of Cold War. Right. So I think we have covered more than half of the chapter till now. I was quick. I apologize for that, but you can understand the problem that I and you people are going through. So I'll make another video on the same chapter where I'll cover what I told you, the third world, non-allied movement, India's role, and the treaties signed between the two superpowers and their allies. So over and out for now. Please see this video once or twice, and it would be a brilliant idea to open the book alongside so that you keep on flipping the page and understanding what I am telling you and how that is related to, your book is related to this lecture, right? Doubt clearing session, I'll try to arrange it with the authorities. So bye for now. God bless you all. Stay safe, spend time with family, and keep learning. God bless you. Bye.